Hello, 7th grade math teachers. This is Roger Vance, secondary math guy for Caddo Schools, and welcome to the video version of our recent collaborative meeting entitled Conceptual Understanding Related to Upcoming Curriculum Topics. The session was held on February 2nd, 2016 in the Professional Development Center seminar room. We only had 6 participants, but we had 5 different schools represented, and it was a great time of discussion and sharing ideas that will benefit our students. After some introductions and a look at the agenda, we started off with a discussion of this year's state assessment. If you received this video by email, the state assessment guidance and part evidence statements were attached. If you found this video on our caddomath.org website, you probably noticed these documents and others related to the video posted alongside the video file. These assessment documents are very important and are not overwhelmingly long, so I strongly encourage every Caddo teacher to take the time to at least skim through them and familiarize yourself with the information. This could lead you to change the way you teach some of the content to your students. The next document we looked at was the latest draft of the new Louisiana standards for 2016-17. These had just been released about a week prior to our meeting, and it was interesting to see how similar they are to what we have been using for the past few years since our state GLEs were replaced. There are minor differences in wording, and the classification system looks more like our old GLEs than Common Core, but this will not be much of a shift in what we've been working with. Next, we moved on to what I thought was the most exciting part of the meeting. We looked at a revised version of the scope and sequence. That actually was not the most exciting part, but it led us to the exciting part. The order of things in the scope and sequence is the same, but the document was originally developed around 2 phases of testing. Remember last year we had 2 phases of testing, and sometime in November of this past year, current school year, we found out that there would only be 1 phase of testing, and that would be the week of April 25th. So we took out the week designated as phase 1, and then we shifted content based on that. And that results in the revised scope and sequence. As you can see, we didn't go back to the beginning of the school year for our training session on February 2nd. We just started with the current time frame. Here on this slide you see week 28. Take a look at week 28, March 14th through 18th. This is the phase 1, or this is when phase 1 of our state testing was originally scheduled. Now, that's a regular teaching week since phase 1 is no longer going to be there, and all content from this point was shifted accordingly. Now take a look at what was phase 2 of testing. That would be week 33, April 25th through 29th. This is where phase 2 of testing was scheduled. Well, now this is still a testing week, but it's our only testing week scheduled by the state. This gives us a bit more breathing room, which is really helpful since most teachers at the meeting on February 2nd admitted to being at least a couple of weeks behind on the pacing guide. So based on that, here are the chapters that most teachers had left to cover on February 2nd, the date of the meeting. Just like we did at the original meeting, now would be a good time for you to pause this video, get out a pencil and paper, take a look at these chapter titles, and jot down some common struggles within these chapters that always seem to plague your students. Okay, hopefully you took some time to think about that and consider some common struggles. Probably didn't take you long to come up with a short list. After some discussion of those among our small groups of teachers, and actually we just had one small group in this particular session, we spent most of the remainder of our time discussing some of those common struggles and shared strategies that some teachers have found to be helpful. There was some discussion about the age-old problem of adding and subtracting integers, which goes back to chapter 1 of the textbook. Some teachers shared how they tackle that in the classroom. We had some very good discussion. We also had some conversation about conceptual understanding, which, by the way, was the title of the meeting. And I mean conceptual understanding related to certain other topics besides just adding and subtracting integers, although that could be a problem there too if students aren't understanding the concept of adding, subtracting integers, but rather they're just memorizing procedures and mnemonics and little gimmicks to answer the questions. Another topic that came up in our discussion was solving equations. We looked at the connection between solving two-step equations and order of operations. This was a great example of this kinds of discussions we need to be having as often as possible across the district. We learned so much from each other. And this is the part that I hope to document and even video at future meetings so the information can be shared with everyone. We also are planning in the future collaborative meetings to have some of you come prepared to demonstrate successful strategies in more detail. Then we could build a video library labeled by topic, and this would be a great place to turn when we need some help preparing for an upcoming lesson. So the feedback from this session included things like, I think it was a wonderful meeting of minds, great testing info, and I'm glad I'm not alone in being behind on the pacing guide. Sometimes just knowing that you're not alone in the battle to help your kids be successful is a great encouragement. And this was something that made me feel like our meeting was worthwhile. From the 6th grade session, there were some other comments such as, please provide samples of the problems we discussed. And I already mentioned that that's future plans. Another teacher said if there were some specific ideas for upcoming topics already prepared, it may have helped. And again, we're going to address that in future meetings. And then finally, a teacher said, once in 9 weeks, have more meetings to be able to provide ideas for upcoming topics. I'm not sure if I've ever had a professional development session where I had teachers ask for more. That's what you hope for. And in this session, we actually had quite a few teachers across different grade levels suggest that this is a great idea and it's something that we need to plan more consistently throughout the school year. So overall, the feedback was very positive, and teachers expressed an interest in making this a common occurrence. As we plan for those future PD opportunities, I'll be applying that feedback. I hope that all of our meetings in Caddo will be collaborative, where you don't just come to listen, but you come to share. We have great 7th grade math teachers in Caddo, and I get excited to think about what will happen when we begin to work together on a consistent basis. So thank you for watching. Please use the documents that are connected to this video. Those state assessment documents, the revised scope and sequence for 7th grade math, and be sure to check out the latest draft of the new state standards whenever you begin to plan for next year. Also, please email me anytime if you think of any suggestions, if you have concerns, needs, anything at all that might lead to benefit our Caddo kids. Oh, and one more thing. If you would like to receive a CLU credit for viewing this video, please go to caddomath.org/math-pd. You can see it there on the screen, and click on the evaluation link associated with this video file. Once you have completed your evaluation, you'll need to send me an email just to be sure that I don't let it slip through the cracks. rvance@caddoschools.org, again there on the screen. In your email, put the subject line 7th grade evaluation. You don't need to write a message unless you just want to, but if you'll just send me that email with the subject line 7th grade evaluation, then I'll send you your CLU certificate as soon as I receive that email and I'm able to pull up your actual evaluation. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Take care.